If the US dollar collapses tomorrow, your savings could disappear overnight. If you are watching this video, tell me where you are watching from and what time it is there. And don't forget to subscribe for more money insights like this. For decades, the US dollar has been the most powerful currency in the world. Oil is priced in dollars. Global trade runs on dollars. Central banks store dollars. But imagine something shocking. One morning, markets open, and the dollar suddenly starts collapsing. Banks panic, stocks plunge. Countries rush to protect their economies. Could it happen? And if it did, what would actually happen next? Let's break it down. If the dollar suddenly crashes, the first place you would see chaos is financial markets. The dollar is the world's reserve currency. This means countries hold trillions of dollars in their reserves. If confidence disappears overnight, global investors would start selling dollars immediately. Stock markets could plunge. Worldwide. Banks might freeze withdrawals to stop panic. You might see ATM limits, bank transfer restrictions, massive market volatility in extreme scenarios. Governments may even temporarily close stock markets to stop panic selling. This has happened before. During major crises, markets have been shut down to prevent economic collapse. Meanwhile, investors would rush into safe haven assets. Gold would likely surge. Bitcoin might spike as people look for alternatives. Other currencies like the Swiss franc or euro could gain value quickly, but the biggest shock would be global trade disruption. Because most international trade is done in dollars. If the dollar becomes unstable, companies may not know how to price goods anymore. Ships carrying billions in cargo could be stuck waiting while businesses scramble to adjust. The global economy could suddenly feel like it's standing on thin ice. A dollar crash wouldn't just affect banks or investors. It would hit ordinary people almost instantly. First, inflation would surge. If the dollar loses value, imported goods become much more expensive. Think about everything imported into the United States. Electronics, cars, clothing, food ingredients prices could jump rapidly. Gasoline prices might spike because oil markets would be unstable. Suddenly, daily life becomes far more expensive. At the same time, people might panic and rush to buy essentials. This could create shortages in stores. You might see empty shelves, similar to what happened during major global crises. Savings accounts could also lose purchasing power quickly. Even if your bank balance stays the same, the value of that money could fall dramatically. This is one of the biggest fears during currency crises, that your money technically still exists, but it buys much less than before. Home values could also swing wildly. In unstable economies, people often move money into real assets like property or gold, but mortgages, loans, and interest rates could become unpredictable. Financial uncertainty spreads quickly through the entire system, and that's why currency stability is so important. A dollar collapse wouldn't stay inside the United States. It would spread across the entire world, because the dollar sits at the center of the global financial system. Countries hold trillions of dollars in reserves. If the dollar crashes, those reserves lose value instantly. Central banks might rush to stabilize their economies by buying gold, shifting reserves into other currencies, creating emergency economic policies. Some countries might even try to move away from the dollar entirely. This conversation is already happening in parts of the world today. Large economies have discussed trading oil or commodities in other currencies. If the dollar collapsed suddenly, those plans could accelerate overnight. Global alliances might shift. New financial systems could emerge, and the world could move toward a multi-currency global economy instead of relying on a single dominant currency. However, a full dollar collapse is extremely unlikely in the near future. The United States still has one of the largest and most stable economies in the world, but the idea of a dollar crash remains one of the most discussed scenarios in global finance, because when the world's most powerful currency moves. The entire global economy feels the impact.